The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Think of all that time. Every wait in the winter. All that hours no one else saw. Every sprint in the summer. Every sacrifice. Early mornings on the levee. Late nights in the film room. Bus rides to playoff games. Every bump in the road. Every moment of ecstasy. Every moment of doubt. Years wondering. Is it all worth it? It's all led to this. Man, I got this. It's a 60-minute drive for a 60-minute game. After all the miles we've traveled, we're almost there. After all the hours we've worked, one more can make us legends. After all that time, this is our time. Caveman on the line. HG got the stats.
No filters, no suits, just facts on blast.
He seems like no nonsense guy. Like
re-emphasize that for the Saints fans out there on TikTok. Caveman. What did you just say?
The rebuild starts right now. Marshawn Lattimore's gone, so the defense, like, we're not getting any better.
We break it all down like overtime.
Looking to get it into Smith. What a pass! That's game! Dorian Smith with the game winner! Oh my goodness!
And that is why you have Aaron Fry pass the ball in.
No filters, no fake control. We run the plays, we own the soul.
Like you have you have the best quarterback in the league, arguably, the best wide receiver in the league, and you've got the best edge rusher in terms of total sacks this season. And you're 4-7, and your playoff chances are hanging on by it.
Reading the field like a poet in rhyme.
Let's make it interesting.
We're making it interesting.
Breaking down ball like a heat wave blade. 2 minds, 1 vibe on the same frequency.
Oh, let's go!
Oh no!
Put him in there.
This not
Put him in there.
We see through the hype, call out the thief. This ain't a game, this is
watch every game the rest of the season in the NBA.
So don't you go standing. You're never going to see that.
You're such a hater.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
For your
with a mic in hand, drop stats
looking
so hard
live
they ban
at
my
Till the
brand.
Final
G
Whistle.
to the left,
I'm
got the edge and grind.
Got
We break
HG
it all
with
down
me.
like
What
overtime.
up
From
today?
kickoff clash to the
this.
post game smoke.
We're on to the Sweet 16 of March Madness. We saw some crazy games, game winners, upsets. That dude on St. John's making his first shot. as a game winner against Kansas was pretty dope.
Yeah, for
It's
Dylan Darling.
for Dylan Darling. That was a pretty sick game. Santa Clara had that game winner made against them by Kentucky. Should have freaking fouled up 3. I don't know what you guys are doing, but that sequence was just that fast. They got the ball out of the net and inbounded it, and they just ran the floor there. The sequence was just too quick for them to react. Man, they kind of choked that one. I can't even lie. But we'll get more onto the men's side. There's some other big news. Darius Acuff just recently signed a deal with Reebok. First ever college basketball player to get a shoe deal from a United States brand while they're still in college. So that's pretty big news over there. But this second round for the women's bracket just finished up last night, and we are moved on to the Sweet 16 over there, or your Elite 8 over there. Excuse me. Which region should we start off in here?
We'll just kick it off here in Fort Worth with the UConn Huskies. I mean, not too much to say about them in round 1 other than they just kept doing what they do, which is
It's what they do best.
absolutely dominate teams. You look against UTSA, beat them 90-52. Strong showing from all the starters. And then it got even worse in round 2 when they played the Syracuse Orange. I mean, you get they've been just bullying Syracuse every year in the tournament. That they got the coach crying to the committee. AZ Fudd scoring 34 points. She hit 8 threes. That was weird.
Azzy Fudd outscored the entire Syracuse Orange basketball team in the first 3 quarters of this game. 13 of 18 and didn't even shoot a free throw either.
Yeah, it was 33-8 at the end of the first quarter, and then it was 65-12 at halftime. So that one was pretty much over before the second half even played. So dominant run to the Sweet 16, where they'll be taking on North Carolina. We've got the community bracket that we've made pulled up here. As you can see, didn't have North Carolina. We had them getting the win over Maryland. Both teams looked really good in round 1, as you can see. North Carolina, dominant win over Western Illinois. And Murray State was not able to pull the upset off.
Good first round picks besides Colorado.
Yeah, we got them all except we got a little homery on that pick right there, but yeah, we did pretty good in this region. That brought us to Maryland and North Carolina in round 2. And the Tar Heels sort of pulled away at the last minute, but this was a pretty good back and forth game. Olchi Akanawana just showed out for her squad on Maryland, scoring 21 points. Had a tough time at the line, though. And that was actually a big reason why Maryland probably wasn't able to win this. They got a lot of opportunities and only shot 55%.
Yeah.
Just 17 of 31. And also, anybody not named Addie Mack on the Terrapins could not hit a 3. 3 of 23.
Yep. Off shooting performance as a team in this one, and they really couldn't. They had to hit shots in this game. The bench production from North Carolina was abysmal. They had nothing from the bench, Nyla Brooks played 29 minutes and only had 6 points. They had no other bench points aside from that. Like you were really just playing against a starting five in this game. They just couldn't make their shots.
Right. Yeah. So good on the Tar Heels for advancing to the next round. But I don't know if they're going to really be able to hang with UConn in the Sweet 16. Sailor Poffenberger she had a really rough night. Did get 10 rebounds, 4 steals, but only 2 points. Was 1 of 12 from the field, 0 of 10 from 3. At some point, your Maryland's head coach, you got to just tell her, hey, let's stop shooting the basketball. Other than, I know you don't want your player to lose confidence, but man, that was just draining. It was pretty evenly matched game on the boards too, so they were getting some of those misses, but yeah, a rough showing for the Terps at 3. And obviously we had them going to the next round to face the UConn, but don't feel too bad about that.
Yeah, because we do have UConn moving on.
Yeah, they're our champion. So as long as UConn doesn't lose, which don't think they will. All right, well, going down here towards the bottom part of the bracket here, Notre Dame and Fairfield, round 1. Irish coming away with a 19-point victory. Star guard Hannah Hidalgo dropping 23 points. Her teammate Ayanna Moore with 18 as well. They just looked all really in sync. Cassandra Prosper scoring 17, scoring 17 and 8, blocking 3 shots, also had 2 steals, getting it done on the defensive end. The fast-paced scoring of Notre Dame and their transition offense, coming off of their defense leading the transition offense was just was too much for Fairfield in this one.
They were on the floor. It's a lot of trust. Those guards, Hidalgo knows she's got the speed advantage on a lot of players, and their guards are quick, and they just trust their bigs to grab every rebound, and there's pretty much just cherry picking down the court, and it's going to tire you out. You're not going to be able to go run with them for too long. The next game is really what's crazy.
Yeah,
because
they
was Ohio State, Jelani Cambridge versus the world. Nobody else had more than 10 points on Ohio State. She shot 25 baskets.
You can see Ohio State
13.
Took care of business in round 1. Dominant win over Howard, but yeah, it was another story with Notre Dame. And Notre Dame started down in this one, it was 14-2 early in or about midway through the first quarter. And they really stormed back. They had a pretty good second quarter where they held Ohio State to 13 points. And yeah, I mean, Jelani just was begging for some help and just wasn't getting it. Yeah. I mean, 41-7-2 is insane.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And not a single other teammate of hers made it to double-digit scoring.
In the first 3 minutes of this game, it was 17-0 Ohio State. Notre Dame's first basket, Ayanna Moore made a 3-point shot, 6 minutes, 3 seconds left in the first quarter. Make it 13-3.
And what ultimately I think ended up making a big difference is, especially late down the stretch, was the rebounding from Notre Dame. And again, it's just that defense, their ability to create off of turnovers. like 21 total turnovers for the Buckeyes, and Notre Dame with 13 steals, 8 of those coming from Hidalgo. I mean, she was unreal in this one too. 26, 13 rebounds, 8 steals. Yeah, they had no answers from her. And then she got a very balanced attack though from the scoring. 13 out of Diana Moore, Prosper with 13, Vanessa De Jesus, 15, and 10 points off the bench for KK Bransford.
They needed the duo in this one. Kennedy and Jelani needed to have a big game in this one. I mean, their offense, when they get into the half court, I mean, you already know who's going to take the shot. It's probably going to be 22 for Ohio State. Like, they really just needed a secondary scorer in this one. I mean, they're only down 10. Like, imagine Kennedy Cambridge has 18 or 20 instead.
Would have made a big difference.
They just needed one more scorer.
But
they were that close. But the Fighting Irish move on.
The Irish go on the round 2. So we'll take a little closer examination of our only game that we missed here, which was in the first round in this region, which was Illinois, Colorado. And I mean, the Buffs, they could have done it. They just went really cold down the down the stretch.
Bad. They stayed in it the whole first half.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing some good defense. I loved what I saw from the help defense. I mean, it wasn't like any easy buckets for Illinois. Both teams were pretty bad from 3, but I mean, Colorado was 1 for 9, and some of those were some really open looks too. It was like they were getting the shot they wanted. They just couldn't hit them.
Like, looking at the box score for this game too for Colorado, it doesn't even look like they scored 57 points just from like glancing at it. Like, I'm like, how? It almost looks like it doesn't add up. It was some big time scoring, big time minutes from Desiree Wooten in this one, but your starting 5 was just really inefficient. Zayana Walker, typically pretty solid shooter, as a guard, 42%. But
struggling in that game, yeah. Was a frustrating as a CU fan. You're like, come on, guys. Like, there were just so many opportunities where they could have stemmed the tide and gotten back into it, but they just couldn't really get the shots to fall. It was unfortunate. And then, as you can see, Vanderbilt went to play Illinois in round 2 after they dismantled High Point 102 to 61. And you know what's actually interesting is the High Point men's and women's coach are married.
Really?
Their husband and wife, yeah.
Really?
So I know his wife was probably like, you didn't have to guard a player like Michaela Blake's that just goes out and casually drops 30 on us while shooting 11 to 16. That's why we lost by 102. But yeah, great round 1 for Michaela, and then really followed it up and a pretty commanding win over the Commodores as well.
Yeah,
the Illini.
They took their foot off the gas in this one. It was 21-8 in the first quarter, and you can see how deep they went into their rotation. Like, a lot of people were getting some minutes in this one, like late in the second half. Like, they were up pretty big in this game.
Once they got to the fourth quarter, I mean, it was like the most like basic, like bread and butter offense you could run. Like, there was not a lot of complicated sets or really any intense action. It was just like, oh, let's just work the shot clock, throw the ball around, put a shot up. Like they weren't. They knew they had this. But we're gonna go back to Blake's because man, she dropped 30 in round 1, and then this game was just kind of a complete force all over. Did a lot of scoring, 25 points here. She had 10 rebounds, 9 assists, so she was 1 assist away from a triple double, and 4 steals. And this one knocked down 4 threes as well. Yeah, they just didn't have a lot of answers for her. Not a lot of teams do. I think the supporting cast from Vanderbilt's been really good these first 2 rounds, which does bode well for them because that was
they outsized everyone. Like Justine Pissot is like 6'5" at center for them, so they got some trees down low. I'm pretty sure. Let me get her full name here. Yeah, M1 and Tanda. She's also 6'2". And then they have another 6'2" forward as well, Sasha Washington. So they've really been outsizing everybody and just letting Blake's go crazy with a lot of ball screens. She's drawing a lot of attention. It's helping her get a lot of assists. I mean, you said nearly a triple double.
All right. And then what I like is like, she's trying to get in and score, but like when they're kicking it out, like Pissot was pretty good. She knocked down 4 threes and like they shot 42% from there. So I mean, like they're trying to attack inside, but when they kick it out, they're shooting pretty efficiently from 3. So they're gonna be dangerous. And I'm pretty excited for that round 2 matchup or round 3 matchup, Sweet 16. Notre Dame, Vanderbilt. That's going to be some high level guard play right there. So excited to see that. We didn't have Notre Dame getting past Ohio State, but I'm not surprised that they were able to do it. They got one of the best guards in the country, and like now these are 2 of your top 2 scoring guards, just top 2 scoring players rather in the country.
Yep.
They both play defense really well. Hidalgo's just a wizard getting those steals, and then Michaela Blakes is a fantastic rebounding guard as well. So it'll be an interesting matchup there. And then you'll have Prosper. She's going to have an interesting time because she's been really great just on the pick and roll action. But some good size that Vanderbilt's going to have to throw at her. So we'll see how she does in this one. We'll scroll down here now. We'll go to the bottom left portion. Sacramento.
Look at South Carolina.
Yeah, round 1.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap. Did South Carolina
40 points?
Yeah, Southern just didn't stand a chance. This was insane.
I feel bad for Oklahoma. They're about to play a team that just in the past 2 games has scored 204 points.
Yeah.
Combined.
Joyce Edwards been cooking too. 27 points in her first game.
23 in the next.
23 in the next.
8 for 12 from the field. Oh my goodness. This team looks terrifying.
Yeah.
They got some vengeance.
Like rip UFC, because I thought they played a really fantastic game against Clemson. This one had it was tough. I think it was the right call though, ultimately, but Mia Moore hit like an insane, like she like lost her balance after she like tripped over someone's leg, like incidental. So it wasn't a foul, but like she kind of was like off balance and she was trying to beat the shot clock before, time ended in regulation. And she just threw it up with one hand and got it to fall. But she didn't get it off in time. And I mean, it was like a razor thin margin, like it was really close. But I do ultimately think like it looked too much like it was in their hand to be able to call it the other way. So I think they made the right call, but it sucked because it was a really impressive shot that she made. But didn't count, and they had to go to overtime, and that's when the Trojans closed them out. Great game from Jazzy Davidson. She had 31 points. You had Kara Dunn scoring 22. Tough way for the Tigers season to end. It's an incredible shot, but I feel like they can probably get some vindication from them watching South Carolina beat the Trojans by 40.
Yeah, like 26-8 after the first quarter.
Yeah.
Like already got 50 points up on you by halftime. I mean,
I think in my
dirty work.
My other bracket, I had TCU beating South Carolina to go to the Final Four. I do not feel good about that at all. This team is just
they're on a run.
They look so terrifying.
TCU's good. They got a great guard, but this is like a unit. This is a squad right here.
Yeah, I think they might have taken something personally that loss to Texas Tech, or not to, just to Texas rather, and the SEC championship. They lost pretty badly, and I really think that might have awoken a sleeping giant. Because wow, I mean, you just the pure level of domination. Their one weakness is I still don't think they're that great at shooting the three, and there is a lady on the Horned Frogs who could potentially be a problem for them. And that is Taylor. Make sure I say her name right. I'm in the wrong game. Whoops.
Just while you're pulling that up, I do want to make a point though that we're kind of finding out that South Carolina's team is so deep that they really could have had their bench come in and start for USC against Clemson.
Probably.
While the starters played that first round game against Central. Like we're seeing something pretty crazy. They're looking a little bit more dominant than UConn, and it's only because they scored like slightly more points.
I think UConn and South Carolina by far looking like the most dominant teams. But sorry, I couldn't remember if her name had S in it or not. Taylor Bigby of the Horned Frogs was on fire round one, knocking down 7 threes. Her and Olivia Miles triple-double of 12, 16, and 14 was just way too much for the Tritons to handle. 27 points for Big B. And I mean, she's been shooting the three really well. And if TCU can get her going and it kind of opens up a lot for the rest of the team, then they could maybe force South Carolina into taking more shots that they don't like. They don't take a lot of 3-point attempts.
That's true. The one thing that does scare me about that matchup, if that's what does end up happening, TCU is not really deep in this game. Can Olivia Miles last like another 2 games in a row where she's got to play 40 plus minutes? Same with Bigby, 41 in that game against Washington, the overtime game. Donovan Hunter played 42 minutes, and then no one else on that bench had more than 10 minutes or even more than 2 points.
Yeah, you don't want that game going into overtime like it did for the Horned Frogs. But
can they sustain that against South Carolina if they end up matching up? Or even Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma, they're a pretty deep team too. But I really don't think they're going to beat. All love to Aaliyah Chavez and Reagan Beers, but I don't think they're beating South Carolina.
Yeah.
all the love in the world to Oklahoma's team, but it's come to a tough ending.
But this was a really good overtime matchup between the Huskies. And I was talking about the Horned Frogs 3-point shooting, and then of course in this one they were actually really off that night, but they're typically better than that. But every now and again you are going to have those games where you kind of go cold from three. And that was one of those. But despite that, almost another triple-double out of Olivia Miles. She had 18, 10, and 8. Like I said, Bigby was still knocking down those threes. She had, 3 of their 4 makes in this one. And yeah, they were really trailing for a good portion of this game. They never really got out of it, and they just kept clawing their way back. The rebounding made a huge difference, especially the defensive rebounding. I mean, they just like the Huskies had to make a shot there. They weren't really getting a second chance at it. So they'll be moving on to the next round. And they'll have Virginia, who we'll talk about a little bit here.
What a great run for them.
Did
Two
not have
upsets in a row.
Yeah, didn't have Virginia going. So
21-11. I really didn't expect this 10 seed to make this run.
I know.
Kind of came out of nowhere.
So round 1 against Georgia.
Overtime.
Had to go to overtime. And it's been Kymora Johnson. She's been one of the best players in the tournament. Had 28 points in that overtime victory against the Bulldogs. 5 3-pointers made. She had 7 boards, 6 assists as well. Been a real do-it-all guard. And yeah, despite them not really being like that the biggest team, they still do a good job of controlling the glass. I mean, they destroyed Georgia on the boards, and that's been just a big thing. Really, is just the rebound differentials in these close games. Like, you can really tell why some teams, despite it looking like it was close, why they just weren't able to close it out. And it was just because they, clutch shot making and getting a rebound when it matters just wasn't something they were able to do.
And then that 3 late in overtime really was the dagger. Romy Levi, a great shooting piece on this team. And they're really just playing together. Like, you got a lot of good bench minutes. Not the most efficient, but enough where you really got your starters a break, even in an overtime game like this. It's not like TCU where everybody played every minute of this game.
And for Iowa, who they defeated in round 2, struggled against FDU, man. I mean, Ava Hayden had 29 in that game, so she
carried them through it.
Yeah, she really carried them through. There was a struggle though in that one.
That was a tough game. And freaking Virginia goes into the second round and they smacked him in the mouth in this one. It had to go to overtime, but it forced Iowa to pull a comeback in the fourth quarter. They had to drop it 25 points in the third and just do everything they could to keep it close in the fourth.
Kymora, another great scoring performance. She had 28. Paris Clark, 20 points, 7 rebounds in this one. Ava Hayden, again, was really carrying a lot of the scoring load, 26 and 6. Hannah Stolke was insane on the boards in this one. She had 19 rebounds.
I mean, I'll give credit too to Jadi Wright. Had 21 in this one. 5 boards, 3 assists. they looked a lot better than they did in round one, but I could just tell after that first game when it was really just all Hayden, like just all Hayden bully ball, that it was a little bit suspect because you got to have a nice playmaker on the outside, and that's exactly what Virginia's got. Kymora Johnson is proven herself in this tournament.
Yeah,
I honestly might have to take Virginia over TCU. I can't even lie.
Yeah, I mean, I know we only got TCU going on one more round, so it's like whatever. I'm rooting for this point. They're the best chance of a Cinderella, the only double-digit seed remaining. I mean, they were the only double-digit seed remaining going into the round at 32. So, like, I just want to see how far this Virginia team can go. I mean, you gotta root for the chaos more than your own bracket.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. And after you start watching these games and you get 2 days into the tournament, not everyone does this, but when I look at the bracket, I always take into account the previous matchups in the same tournament leading into their next ones. And there's already going to be a scouting report made on your team before you even get there. They got that whole night to prepare for. Like, Iowa messed up by not just dominating at FDU. They left too much on the board for Virginia to scout, and they were coming out hot off and already got an upset. Like, take into account those previous matchups.
all right. I did also want to briefly touch on the CSU Michigan State game because again, another Colorado team, us being Colorado guys,
bounced out the first round.
Would have been nice to see them maybe advance. And again, it was just like their inability to really they'd keep getting it close, and then they'd have a shot to tie it or potentially take the lead, and it was just like those clutch shot moments. Man, nobody was able to answer the bell.
Brooke Carlson was having a heater in this one, made like a logo 3 late in the shot clock. They really didn't have anyone else scoring the ball. It was like a one-woman show. That's really why it felt like that clutch shot ability wasn't there. It's like no one really had that much of a rhythm. Felt like I think they did a way better job than CU, though.
They did.
We shout out to CSU.
Yeah, this game was a lot closer. There was just a lot of good defense in this one too. I mean, it was evident pretty early on that there weren't going to be a lot of 3-point shots in this game. Neither team was really knocking those down. And so it kind of did turn into, who could play bully ball in the paint better. And at that point, like Michigan State rather just had more size to their advantage there, which was making it tougher for CSU to score inside. But they put up a really good fight. So we're proud of them in that aspect. But would have been cool. I think we had them pulling off the upset round one. No, we didn't. They had Michigan State winning. So
okay.
That's not
that one must have came down to the vote later on.
Yeah. We had Washington getting upset by South Dakota. That didn't pan out. Not a ton of upsets really in this one. Our predicted Cinderella of Rhode Island, that didn't pan out, which was unfortunate. We'll get to that in a second, though. Gonna real quickly also go to this Michigan-Oklahoma game. What are your takeaways from this one, Caveman?
It's really unfortunate that Oklahoma's got to match up against a 1 seed like South Carolina.
I agree.
I want to say they have a really good chance at winning this game, but 204 points in 2 games.
It'll be interesting.
I don't know if defensively they can just handle what Dawn Staley is. They're gonna get attacked.
Right.
They're gonna see if Reagan Beers is going to be able to get 4 steals and 2 blocks against them. They're going to test that.
They're gonna, both teams kind of play at a slower pace. I mean, it's a lot of post ups, action, working the whole shot clock, and I think that's gonna favor South Carolina more. That's just they're just better at running that type of game.
They're way more experienced. They've got the roster and first and second unit all in sync. Like it's like you said, a monster or just something was awoken. The sleeping giant.
Yeah,
is South Carolina right now.
Because that was, I think, a lot of what Oklahoma's. I mean, round 1 they definitely imposed their will on Idaho, and late in this one, I think they also, especially in the third quarter, and even somewhat into the fourth, it was a lot of just like forcing Michigan State to slow it down and really just taking control of that game. I don't think that South Carolina is just not the type of team that you can do that to. You can't really not in not in a slower pace, grind it out type of style that they play in. Oklahoma's not going to be able to impose their will on them that way. They're going to have to try to make them get out and run, and I don't know if that's going to work, or if they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, and Aaliyah Chavez is going to have a Paige Beckers or Azzy Fudd against Syracuse level performance to move on to the Elite Eight. That's really what's got to happen, because that's been the one way to take down South Carolina is just have an elite scoring guard.
Yeah,
someone that can really just knife through that defense.
All right, just so we make sure we have plenty of time for also the men's bracket, we're jumping over to the Fort Worth, Texas. I don't think there's too much we got to say about them. I mean,
dominating everyone.
Not a lot to break down here either. 87-45 over the Missouri State Lady Bears. Wasn't very close.
R.I.P. Oregon, 100-58 after a pretty solid round 1 game. I slept on them.
Good performance against the Hokies in round 1. They you had what's her name? Katie Fiso dropping 22 points. Mia Jacobs 13. Asa 11 and 11. It was just their best players really put out some strong performances. They played great defense. I mean, nobody on Virginia Tech even scored over 10 points aside from Carries Baker. She was really the most of the Hokies offense and a lot of their rebounding. She had also led their team with 14 boards. And then you had to play Madison Booker, and she just ate you for breakfast. 40 points in this one.
Gosh.
14 of 21 too. I mean, so just wouldn't miss.
Just lights out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm sure maybe her Jordan Lee had 17. I'm sure Rory Harmon, Kayla Oldeker could, Justice Carlton could have scored some more, but I mean, I think they just knew Booker was in the zone. It didn't really matter who Oregon threw at her. She just scored on them at will. 48-5 in that one.
48. Gosh.
Some other blowouts that we had in round 1, just to speed run them. Michigan
bracket.
Yeah. Michigan crushing Holy Cross, and then they crushed NC State, who had a big win, not very close, over Tennessee.
Louisville dominated Vermont.
You had
2-52.
Bama. This Rhode Island game was kind of close for a little bit, but ultimately the Crimson Tide just had a big surge, really in the third quarter, and they just kind of carried over into the fourth, and the Rams just couldn't quite close the gap, and kind of got you could tell they sort of got into desperation mode. There was some bad shot selection there in the fourth. They were just jacking up threes. Spirited effort. So there goes that went down our Cinderella story there.
Yeah, Rhode Island. I mean, it did make Alabama look a little bit suspect, though. But them going up to play Louisville, they made it one heck of a game after that one. It's just like their point limit was 68.
So
they just couldn't get past 68 points.
You can see West Virginia, Kentucky also took care of business. Pretty commanding wins in round one. We'll go to Louisville, Alabama, because I mean, two of the best games of Monday were the Louisville, Alabama, and Kentucky, West Virginia. So that Bama game, you had the Crimson Tide hitting some high, hitting their 3-pointers at a high clip, 46% in this one, and that's what really kept them in this game. They were kind of struggling from the field. They got absolutely killed on the boards.
41 to 24.
Yeah, out rebounded 41 to 24. But it was their 3-point shooting and their ability to get steals, 10 steals in this one. That did help keep them in it. But Louisville, the second chance points were crucial for the Cardinals in this one as well. And I mean, they're pretty evenly matched actually in the paint. But Louisville just stayed out of foul trouble too. I mean, a pretty big foul disparity, 21 to 10 in favor of the Cardinal.
Yeah, only 4 free throw attempts for Alabama. It was really just like some clutch shots from Carly Weathers late in this one. They just did not quite have enough to get past Louisville.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Weathers drilled that tray when they were down 4. That gave them a shot, but then they just couldn't. Like, she hit that from the March Madness logo.
Yeah, it's like a hash mark 3, 30-plus foot jumper right there with the hand in her face. That's a really contested shot for your team. It's just that was like your only shot maker.
Well, and then I mean they fouled immediately, so just some mismanagement of the game earlier where they didn't, like, both free throws get missed, so it's still only a 1-point game, but you don't have a timeout. And yeah, it was just a tougher heave from half court, instead of being able to maybe advance the ball over the front court and get a better shot there. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Louisville team. I mean, they might need to just up their 3-pointing percentage a little bit, but Tahina Roberts, Alifa Istanbuloglu, both with 18 points in this one. And then, a couple players double-digit rebounding. Alifa had 11 to go with her 18. You had McKinley Randolph dragging in 13 boards. So I think that'll be a big key for Louisville, like that dominance on the glass and just getting those second chance points and limiting their opponent's second chance points will be huge. And if they can just hit a few more threes, because they were getting some looks. I mean, like their offense was there. Like they're not bad looks. They just got to knock a few more down. They could be more than capable of upsetting Michigan.
They've played in tough, close games, and they've gotten a dominant win. They just got to go against the team. That's just they're red hot Michigan team with a lot of experience, a lot of tournament experience on their roster. So only 4.5-point favorites. right now.
All right, then we go Kentucky, West Virginia. Another really good back and forth game. Gia Cook and Sydney Shaw were both so fantastic for West Virginia in this one. Those two dynamic 1-2 combo at the guard spot. Gia Cook just really great at getting to the line. She had 12 free throws, knocked down 11. And Shaw was big from three. She hit 6 threes in this one. Carol Wheeler had 16 for the Mountaineers. Just nothing from their bench, though. That was
tough. 29 minutes from Riviera.
Yeah.
And she didn't have it.
Carter McCray ended up kind of getting banged up and didn't really come back into this game, too. So, it was really kind of just 4 on 5 for a good chunk of this game.
Yeah, they did an amazing job at staying in it. But they were so close. They were so close to hitting that game-winning shot. They got the game in their hands. They controlled their own destiny in that game by giving themselves the final shot. But
they had the look, too.
It was just that short, man.
It just didn't get the friendly bounce,
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And again, this was another game where it's like the margin of victory was so slim, and it's like wasn't like Kentucky really shot the ball too much better or anything. They were worse from three. They didn't really have a big free throw disparity. What gave them a huge advantage? Rebounding. Just domination on the boards. Rebounded them 39-23. Doubled up their offensive rebounds. Yeah, a lot of extra possessions. And then Claire Strack was really good and just super efficient, 8 of 14. She had 15 rebounds to go along with 18 points, 4 blocked shots. So just doing it at both ends of the floor.
Over.
Yeah, it was her control in the paint was also a big difference for this Wildcats team. They had some more, definitely won the battle in the paint, and she was a big reason for that. But we also got to give Tiana Key a shout out. She was also really efficient, also with a double-double, 19 and 10. Didn't have as much of an impact on the defensive end. No stocks in this one, but 19 and 10 on 9 of 14 shooting
that's a solid game right there.
That's really good. All right, well, we got to wrap up our final region here, the UCLA region.
What is going on over there? That's really what's scary. There's a lot of teams that this tournament started and they woke up, and it was just a different team that we saw.
So we'll start. Man, I don't even know where to start. We'll run through more of these round 1 matchups that were blowouts. Cal Baptist didn't even stand a chance against Lauren Betts and the Bruins. Absolutely annihilated, as you can see there, 96-43. Man, I thought Princeton could really pull the upset here, but
so did I. So did I.
They did not look good in this one. They got down by a lot, and to their credit, they played a lot better in the second half. They just dug themselves too much of a hole, and they were never able to really get out of that. And then they also just had no real answer for Nicole Acott. She 28 on 12 of 15, 10 rebounds. They didn't have anybody that could really slow her down or make her uncomfortable, and so she just kind of cleaned up against the Princeton Tigers there. Ole Miss, pretty resounding win over Gonzaga. 15.
All that just to kind of get shocked. They were the higher seed, weren't they? But still,
well, they were a 5, and
okay.
Minnesota was a 4. This was a great game. Minnesota.
They still kind of shocked them.
Yeah. Well, the second half, it was really back and forth and evenly matched. And then the second half, it was just like Old Miss had a pretty dominant third quarter. They outscored the Gophers 25-14. And then they just played like doo-doo in the fourth and got outscored 19-9 and let Minnesota come back. Yeah. So it was like their shot making and everything just it fell off a cliff, and those backdoor cuts and those kickouts were killing them in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, really late.
Honestly,
reactions on it's like they felt like they were dominating them, and they had a pretty good lead. It's just even against Green Bay, or no, not Green Bay, against Gonzaga, they kind of took their foot off the gas, and they pulled the score back pretty quickly.
Okay.
But Minnesota, I think, has a better chance at going against UCLA, but after Lauren Betts' career high 35 points and 9 boards against Oklahoma State, I don't know if there is any other team other than LSU in this region that can handle a team like UCLA.
Maybe Duke if they can beat them, but yeah. Yeah, the Betts just mollywopped the Cowgirls. That was another game where I was like, all right, well, I'm not missing a whole lot here. 21-6 was your score after the first quarter. And to be fair, Oklahoma did score 20, 21, and 21 in their next 3 quarters. It just didn't matter because they were down by so much.
Yeah, it was already far too gone. Already far too gone for them.
So interesting upset in round 1, or almost upset, rather. Huskers, man, they were close. They just kind of ran out of gas in the fourth. Baylor really stormed back, and I think it was. I mean, they were still tired from a really close first 4-in game against Richmond, where Richmond played them really tough, and
they weren't able to close this one out.
Despite Britt Prince's 27, they just a lack of contribution from their bench outside of Jessica Petrie didn't really help. And then, I mean, Britt Prince was really the only one that wasn't struggling to score. I mean, they were 34% from the field. At least they were able to hit 9 threes. That was a big reason why they were able to keep this close. And then the rebounding, again, I just got to bring that up. It was
a bad difference.
Yeah.
10 boards right there, 33-43.
And they gave up 17 offensive rebounds. That's way too many extra opportunities for Baylor. So
offense forced so many turnovers too. They got 15, but they gave the ball back just as much. Or sorry, they got 16 they forced 16 turnovers, but they gave it up just as much with 15 of their own.
And then
they didn't take advantage of Baylor's poor 3-point shooting at all. Baylor's 19% from 3.
Then Duke took care of business against the Bears, though, the next round.
Yeah. Poor Charleston, poor Baylor.
Got to
taking their foot off the gas a little bit in this one against Baylor, though.
Right. So, I mean, I like this Duke team, but I don't think they're you want to talk about having a dominant tournament run so far. Texas Tech was feeling good after they squeaked out a win against I scrolled too far. Against Villanova. You had
what a good game that was.
Bailey Maupin dropping 17. A really kind of a turnover fest for both squads. That was 20 for Texas Tech, 18 for Villanova. I mean, Raiders had to feel pretty good about how they shot. I mean, 44% from the field. They were 47% from three. Like, okay, we can play some tough defense and maybe stay close with LSU. But now LSU coming off a 116-58 victory over Jacksonville is like, yo, why don't we just drop 101 points and hold you to 47? How about that? So 107 or 217 points scored in the first two rounds.
More total than South Carolina.
Wild,
Another
man.
giant woken up, and they have a legendary basketball coach. Kim Mulkey and LSU. Does Duke even have a chance? Is it disrespectful that LSU is only an 8.5-point favorite in the Sweet 16 game?
I mean, Duke
was dominating too.
This is a pretty good Duke team, but I wouldn't be surprised if LSU wins this game by like 15. They're a lot. I mean, they're so experienced. They have so many upperclassmen that are juniors and seniors. I mean, Flasia Johnson, Malaysia Fawali, been here forever. Zakiya Johnson, Jada Richards been playing for a while. Even Grace Knox, Amina Joyner. Like, there really isn't a whole lot of inexperience. I mean, Michaela and Flasia both dropping 24 in this big win over the Red Raiders. I mean, they're shooting almost 60% from the field so far in this tournament. Getting to the line, they're hitting their threes. I mean, they're just really not doing anything wrong. So I like Duke, but I do think they're a little dependent on their star players just a bit more, and they might their depth might be a bit of an issue. Like they're very reliant on like Delaney Thomas and Toby Fournier to have good games, and that could be. And besides Ariana Robertson, they don't just consistently get a ton of production from their other bench players. So, yeah, I think it'll be really tough for them to keep pace with LSU.
Yeah.
All right, but that's gonna do it for the recap. Round one of our women's bracket, but
fingers crossed for some more upsets in the Sweet 16, but the powerhouses advanced. So, I mean, you really just watch out. Watch out for this women. We might see some blowouts again this weekend.
All right. So we're going to go over to the men's side. You can see the community standings here. Community bracket doing pretty good. It's in fourth place. I like how your upset bracket is still.
I don't know how the hell that's third.
That's wild.
That is nuts.
My main one dropped all the way down to 10th. Not loving that.
Is my main one still in first?
Yeah.
Okay. So Virginia, dude, that bracket's not going to win because Virginia screwed my whole bracket.
The Virginia run, that one's probably over. The rest of mine are like my Cinderella's was over. Was busted round one. Upset bracket, not doing too hot. The mascot bracket also not doing too hot. And then the March Madness one we made, not surprising, is also not doing too well because I think besides Iowa, our entire Final Four is gone.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was
Miami,
Georgia, Ohio State, and
Iowa.
Yeah. So I mean,
shout out to the Hawkeyes. They're making a run for our freaking college football bracket.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead. Let's fire up this bracket. And you know what? Let's start in that Hawkeyes region, man.
Let's do it. The South. What a game against Florida.
We had some fire matchups come out of this one. I got to be honest with you.
Vandy McNeese was good. Nebraska Troy was good. Nebraska Vandy was good.
Dude, all right.
VCU and North Carolina was good.
We'll make some runs through round one. So yeah, Florida just demolishing Prairie View round one. I think that was the biggest blowout of round one. And what was cool about this game is they had the who's that 7-9 player that they have?
It's like Rook or something. I need to upload this screenshot he was standing next to a guy.
Oh yeah,
that's like 6'8".
Oliver Rooks.
Yeah, he's standing next to a guy that's 6'8", 6'8", and he's only up to his chest. And the guy guarding him looks scared.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you even doing? You're this tiny mid. This is a Prairie View A&M. Like you're going against some guy. This dude, 7'9", and he's just massive. This dude.
So some of your first round blowouts. I mean, not surprising. Houston, just the defensive intensity and their work on the boards, just too much for Idaho. Illinois. I'll give Penn some credit. They hung around in this one for a little bit, but I'm just the 3-point shooting and the transition offense of Illinois, just that eventually they just weren't able to match that, and the size, man, from that foreign legion there.
It kind of scares me though that this game against Houston will be a shootout for Illinois. That Penn against Penn Quaker. Allowing 70 points. You did a great job against VCU holding them like under 60. But we'll see what happens against Houston when they get slowed down a little bit and play against like a really tough defense like that.
Texas A&M St. Mary's was a 13-point victory for the Aggies, and this just happens every time with St. Mary's. Like the second they have to play a team that can run fast and dunk the basketball, they
can't do it.
They're just overwhelmed. Yeah, they sort of pulled it in a little closer there in the second half, but Texas A&M was up by like 20 for a good portion of this game. Rashawn Aggie, 22-9 in this one. He leading the way for the Aggies. Funny enough. But then, Houston just...
they handled them.
Houston dogged them. I like Houston, dude. Just Tugler has been insane inside. He's like maybe the best defending center in the country. He's just really good.
Like, what do you even do against him?
3 blocked shots. We saw like in the Big 12 tournament too, like him being able to go and score a little bit, but he hasn't really had to do that here. But
like the athletes are going crazy. Like Sinak is grabbing all the boards, going up, getting second chance points, and Tugler standing right in the paint, hands up high. That's like this game against Texas A&M. He just had to stand in the paint. It was like watching 2K. Where the guy's got a 7'5" center just standing in the neutral zone.
Yeah, their ball pressure, the way they can blitz the primary ball handler and then still rotate and get back and cover on defense. It's just,
I love their defense.
They
trap and they're just using Tugler and Sinak as just blockers. So they're gonna chase everybody down and pack it.
Kelvin Sampson's got this team playing really well. And honestly, like Kingston Flemings hasn't even, what's good for Houston is like, he hasn't been doing anything too crazy this tournament, but like you're getting like it was Emmanuel Sharp. It was Chris Sinak. It was Milos Uzan, dude, that were doing a lot of the scoring. 18 for Sharp, 17 for Sinak, 15 for Uzan. Yeah. So imagine like if Kingston Fleming gets going, like Houston could be a really scary team. But also that could be a cause for concern that those guys aren't typically your leading scorers every game. So I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, it's like watch out now.
Rely on them.
It
could be a
little tough.
Could be a blessing. Could be a curse. Well, this VCU game, round 1. Man,
North Carolina. What the heck are you doing?
What a comeback, dude. They were down 19 points was their biggest deficit, dude. And got the guy that didn't even start in this game, Terrence Hill Jr., ends up taking
the bench. He took over.
Coming off the bench, just took over 34, 5 and 5 in this one. Yeah, he was unreal. Hit 7 threes. Yeah, Carolina just couldn't. couldn't stop a nosebleed in the second half in this one, dude. It was
No. What happened to their
I mean,
defense?
they were getting either right to the cup, or they'd have to bring so much help that, like, bam, they would just kick it out and hit a three. And like, that's where Hill was getting a lot of his points, man. He was just like getting to a pocket, finding the soft spot to, and then just, somebody would make the right pass to him. He would just rise up and knock down that three. 11 made ones for VCU. That was just huge in their comeback here. You look at it.
Find this stat out real quick, because North Carolina did have Seth Trimble pick up 5 steals, and as a team got 8 steals, forced 10 turnovers, and ended up winning that battle overall. Like, where did all that go in the second half? Like, did Seth Trimble did they really get all these 8 steals in the first half, and they just lost all the momentum? Like, one hell of a halftime speech for
Also,
TCU.
Got to give Lazar Diakovic a shout out. He played some tremendous defense in the second half, especially in the post. Just really helped force some missed shots that we were able to get the Rams back in this. So yeah, the Tar Heels, disappointing run for them for sure. I mean, I do think they should have they probably would have won this game with Caleb Wilson. God, that's the big asterisk of this one,
Yeah, I think his scoring ability gets you over pretty handily.
Well, I think in this one it started to get to a point too where they really didn't know who to go to and they needed the bucket. It was like, who wants to go out and score? I think he's just been such a pivotal part of that, like that go-to option all year. So it's a little sad that we probably won't get to see him go on the March Madness run. He'll likely be drafted, go to the NBA. Would have loved to see him and this UNC team. It was a team I thought could have been poised for a deep run if they were fully healthy going into the tournament.
You got one of the top freshman prospects, goes down season-ending injury, needing a surgery too. Like, it's got to hurt to watch this from the sideline if you're Caleb Wilson. Like, at this point, I'm ready to run it back. I'm just thinking about next season. If you're North Carolina, try and retain that team and get Caleb Wilson some more help for next season.
Yeah.
Because if Duke doesn't retain a lot of their talent, which they're obviously going to get a lot of new young guys, and John Shire is a great coach, but we could see a new top dog in the ACC next year if North Carolina keeps their guys.
Yeah. And then round 2 game, though, VCU again kind of hanging around with Illinois.
Wasn't bad
there for a little bit, but like Illinois just sort of letting teams hang with them in the first quarter, but they really take control there in the second. 21 from Stojakovic. Wagler only had 14 in this one, but it was a pretty efficient 14. Also pulled in 5 assists.
The thing that VCU did a really good job of to hang around in the first half was just make Keaton Vogler your defensive priority. He only had 1 point in the first half. He scored 13. He scored the rest of his points in the second half.
Yeah, he did get off to a slow start.
They did a really good job at limiting his scoring and just forcing other guys to beat them.
Which, I mean, that can only work for so long, but eventually those guys did start scoring. Like, they've got guys that can score. I mean,
Stojakovic,
honestly,
like said,
Mirkovic he was a little quiet in this one. He's a guy that could light it up. And then Ivasic started to just dominate and just hound the boards. That was another big reason why they pulled away. Like, they just had nobody that could match up with with Isevich. He's like 7'2", so he was.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to
he was
match up with that.
pulled in 11 boards. The big rebound disparity here of 45 to 29 ended up playing a pretty big difference in that one.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do against a guy like that? Real traditional big that Illinois has out of him too.
So you see Vanderbilt almost let McNeese come back in this one, but they closed it out. 26 for Tyler Tanner in this one. The barrage of threes from Nebraska just overwhelmed Troy. Nebraska's been shooting the three ball really well. And then that brings us to one of our games of the tournament.
Vandy and Nebraska.
Maybe the best one so far, in my opinion.
Fred Hoiberg. He's proven himself, man. They got Nebraska ball back over there now. They got something cooking.
First ever, you get your first ever tournament win, and then that same tournament advance to your first ever Sweet 16. Like, they're doing some historic things down there. Both of these teams are really having some big seasons. Vanderbilt had been like just kind of a laughing stock in the SEC and in college basketball in general for a while, and like they've really put together a solid team. And dude, this game was just so good. Like the high level shot making in the fourth, just clutch bucket after clutch bucket. You had, Vandy was throwing up 37 threes, and they only hit 13. Nebraska didn't take quite as many, but man, like, dude, Price Sanford and Renique Mask, like when they were asked, and even Burke Boytucklin was like, when you ask those guys to hit threes, man, and those.
Yeah, the price is right, man.
The price is right.
They can make it whatever you need to. That was the story for the first game for Nebraska. The price is right. He took over against Troy. And in this one, it was an all-around team effort. Like, they needed everybody.
Yeah. This game. Got to give Brandon Frager a shout-out coming off the bench, dropping 15 points and getting the game-winning shot up that ended up, the last made shot with how much time was left? Like 2.7, something like that.
Yeah, 2.7, like 2.9.
Oh,
just above 3 seconds, just under 3 seconds.
Just fantastic high level play from both sides. And then like Tanner was on the other side, 27 points from a freshman. Tyler Nickel, dude, like just could not. Felt like in that fourth or in that second half rather, he just could not miss from three, hitting big shot after big shot. And McLaughlin was pulling down some big offensive boards for him. Yeah, I thought those final 4 minutes too. Like, overall, I don't think Vanderbilt shot nearly as good as Nebraska, but those final 4 minutes, like the big time shot making, like clutch shot making, it was just so good back and forth. And then after Frager makes that shot, dude, I've never seen a bucket look more like it was in and then rattle out than that Tyler Tanner half court heave. I cannot believe that.
There's no way that missed.
I cannot believe that. Such a good game. It was my favorite of the tournament so far. There have been some other fantastic games, but I think that's been my favorite. Let us know what your favorite's been in this one. There's been some incredible games. And a close second for me is that game right above it. Florida and Iowa. Florida. You look at the Traps with Excellence chart, and Florida and Iowa are on opposite ends. Like, Iowa, probably the slowest paced team in the entire tournament, which is just so Iowa. I don't know how to describe it. And then Florida been playing we're playing super fast all year. and Iowa just dragged them down into a slow-paced game, forced them to run half-court offenses way more than they want.
They're stuck in the mud.
Yeah, got them stuck in the mud.
Like Boogie Fland didn't really look like he knew what to do out there. Like they were really counting on Xavier and Lee as their playmaker.
Yeah, they got some good efficiency from Alex Condon. I'll give him that. But he played pretty well in that style of game. 21, 5, and 7.
Him and Hoke had to take over.
Yeah,
like late in this game.
Hawk got to the line a lot. He was really inefficient from the field though. He was kind of just chucking shots at the rim and trying to get foul calls. It didn't work. Yeah,
it was bully ball right there.
It was. And what just surprises me, Florida did have 7 steals, so they were, trying to get some transition and fast paced offense from that. But dude, with all the size and length that Florida has, they only blocked 1 shot. Like Iowa just was so patient working through their offense and getting to the look they wanted. They shot 51% from the field. 29% from 3 wasn't great, but they got some big shots there late, including the go-ahead bucket from I think it's pronounced Flogeris. Alvaro Flogeris off the bench, man. In the game for that big moment. And when you're down 2 and the confidence to catch that inside the arc, step back, set your feet, and knock it in, man. I mean, like that whole floor of the defense collapsed in on Bennett Sturts. They really thought he was going to be taking that shot.
There was 8.9 seconds left after Florida made those free throws. And first of all, Hoke could have been 12 of 12, but he missed the shot that could have put them up 3, which was the first free throw. So at that point, 8.9 seconds left. Why would you press that hard on Bennett Sturts? If he runs down the floor and makes a 20-foot jumper when you're up 2 and you got to go to overtime, that's a lot better than everybody getting burned on the press and having a wide open kick out man in the corner. Like Fulgaris wasn't even down to grab the rebound for the free throws. He was just from that shot, he was already in the corner.
Yeah.
He walked down there.
I think like Florida did a horrible job of getting back after that missed free throw. Cause you look like the guys that were down there both collapsed kind of on Sturts. Nobody picks up Fulgaris. He catches it, steps back into the corner to take the shot. And I don't remember who it was, but I mean, like Iowa had somebody under the basket with a seal and a box out on that rim. So, I mean, like there was like, even if that shot's missed, there's a high % chance that I think it was Banks gets a
tip in or a rebound.
Yeah, gets a tip in or a rebound, at least another chance at a shot. So it was just not great. Pretty bad defense getting back down there, and Iowa made them pay. So the defending champs
knocked out in the second round.
Eliminated in the second round. I thought it was going to happen in the Sweet 16, but I think that Nebraska-Iowa game needs to start with a punt, just as like a sign of respect for tradition. They should have somebody punt the football.
That's perfect. Perfect.
All right, let's slide over to the Midwest region. Some more blowouts in round 1 to go through. Yeah, Michigan was kind of playing with their food, but eventually just took over and smacked Howard. Dude, this St. Louis game against Georgia was like a crazy blowout in the 8-9 matchup, dude. Like St. Louis just killed Georgia with their pace of play. Like,
thought it would be a better game.
Yeah, the Bulldogs just couldn't keep up, and like St. Louis, I mean, they went 29-5 for a reason. Robbie Avila probably had like the coolest like 12-5-5 highlight reel you could have. Got 18 out of Dion Brown. Yeah, they were just running up and down the court on Georgia.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Milk Chamberlain. Larry Nerd. The names, bro. They're fantastic. I love those. Yeah. Again, a rebounding disparity was pretty apparent. Even though Georgia had more offensive rebounds, but they just got smoked on the defensive boards. 36-21, which was insane. And then Jeremiah Wilkinson had to come off the bench and do all the scoring pretty much. Yeah, I like Georgia just was wholeheartedly outplayed. Texas Tech taking care of business against Akron.
But they really needed JT Toppin against Alabama.
They did. I wanted to give Petty a shout out because I thought he played really well against Akron. Was just making all the right decisions. I honestly thought that they had a shot against Alabama, but Bama just couldn't miss from 3.
No. And it got to the point they were really just running them off the court. It was like a pick and roll, and they would kick out to the corner for a 3. And I don't know why. Whoever was guarding Bowl in the corner, they got it. They got to be studied. He's got to be with Vegas, because there's no way Taylor Bowen, like anytime he shot a 3, he only made 1. Like, thank God. But there's no closeout, and he was right there on the low block. Like, if your man's in the corner and you're a big, you still have to protect the paint. That's still your area, but you got to be on the low block to help. But you got to be able to get out there and get a hand up on those shots. And those corner 3s were killing Texas Tech.
The 3s were killing them. They were getting absolutely worked on the board. That's one of those things where Toppin comes into play. And Texas Tech, a team that doesn't play not nearly the pace Alabama does. And I think having a good, like a post-up player that's just such a creative and talented scorer.
Toppin would have slowed this game down too.
Really helps you slow it down, helps you, and he's a great rebounder. Like, Toppin's the guy that can go out there and give you 30 and 13.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a guy that Texas Tech could have used in a game like this. But the Tide, you know what? I wasn't really thinking they could go to the Sweet 16. I just thought that their defense was gonna be a problem. But I mean, so far, and it really they've scored 180 points, so their defense hasn't really been that much of an issue for them. So
we'll see how they fare against the size that Michigan has, because even if you got bigs, you're not right. Bigger than Michigan.
I mean, they got like Sherrell. I really like. He's a great center. But
they're just not bigger than Michigan. That's just
just what it is. You've got Phylon for Bama that'll be probably doing a lot of the ball handling here. I think the pressure that Michigan's going to put on there, it's like Michigan can defend the perimeter a lot better because they have like dudes that they're like 6'8" to like 6'9" that
and they're lanky
and can defend the perimeter. Like, we go back to this St. Louis game, and I mean, a number of those blocked shots that Michigan had came from 3, dude. It was like they blocked 9 shots in this game, and I think at least 3 of those were blocked 3-pointers, maybe more. Like, I mean, it's like they've got so much size, and it's so quick to get out to the perimeter. So it's like, it's just tough. Like, you can't drive because like you're trying to score in between a force, and then like you think, oh yeah, I can kick it out, but like they're just so athletic that they can get out there and at least affect the shot. Sometimes they're able to block it, but it's just like they don't give you a lot of opportunities to shoot comfortably. Like it's almost zero where you're like getting like a really clean open look. It's just like that's what's like like you can have size, like you can just go and find like the tallest guy in every every village and put them together on the basketball team, but like to have size that's also fast and athletic like Michigan does is why they've been so dominant all year. And then like Lindenberg, man, had an absolutely sick poster. And this one, I gotta give, what was this? Oh man, it was Deion Brown. That's right. He did posterize Andy Moore. That was pretty sick for St. Louis. That was cool.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he got a head of steam, and or no, it was Keelan Thames. Not Deion Brown. It was Keelan Thames. But that was sick. That was I gotta give him some props for that because that's a like 7'3" center that you just guys I think easily had like a foot and a half on him. And he still went up and posterized him.
He's got some serious balance. Yeah. That dude is athletic.
Yeah. The boards again. I'd be bringing it up every time because it's just been such a huge factor. Like there's a huge disparity here. That again just played a major role in this one too. But Michigan's probably going to out rebound everybody that they play, aside from like maybe a few teams. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, I don't know if Bama's going to be able to bring that same speed and pace. But
your 2 seed though, they might be able to. Iowa State in a pretty favorable matchup against Tennessee, who's on a pretty good run. But I think it's a winnable game for them.
Definitely. I think Iowa State, if Joshua Jefferson is able to get back for the Elite Eight, I think they could still probably beat Tennessee without him. But I don't think they beat Michigan without Joshua Jefferson. They're going to need him. He's their best player. But if he's good to go, Iowa State could definitely beat Michigan. Iowa State's a really good basketball team. We'll get to their game against Kentucky in a second. I did want to talk about the Kentucky-Santa Clara game.
Should have fouled up 3. Man, this game wouldn't have even been in overtime.
Otego Eto'o, though, that was one of the best performances of round one, 35, 8 and 7. And then obviously, the what was it, like 53 feet, something like that? 50 feet?
Yeah, it was longer than half court.
That he hit was to send it to OT, man. Yeah, it's incredible. And you're feeling great at Santa Clara. You just hit the 3 to take the lead. There's like 4 seconds left. I mean, I get like the thought process that like, okay, we're up 3. Like there's, like they're going to have to probably heave it from half court. They didn't have a timeout. Like, why foul? Like, what? Just make them take a low percentage shot. But I mean, March is the season for shots like that to fall, and that they did.
Yeah. Like, the only thing fouling would have done right there, since they had one to give, is just get everybody set. Then they wouldn't have even allowed that shot to happen. They would have had to force Kentucky to draw up an inbound play and set up something completely different that they would be ready for. And Santa Clara had a timeout too. So they could have seen what they came out in after that and then call the timeout themselves to get ready for it. They could have really prepared for Kentucky's final shot, but they instead allowed a really quick inbound, and down the floor he went away. And
away he went.
Yeah, away he went to end your March Madness run, send this game into overtime. It just didn't need to be in overtime. Santa Clara fumbled.
Yeah,
he fumbled it.
It did. But then the Wildcats ran into a buzzsaw at Iowa State, who just
swept up.
Yeah, thrashed Tennessee State round one. 25 Killian Torrey, man. He's not even really a scorer like that. He dropped 25 and 11. But that's what I like about Iowa State too, is like they play like a really intense, like swarming brand of defense. And where they can get you is, I mean, they can get really hot from three. I mean, they've got one of probably the best volume 3-point shooter in the country, and Momcilovic. But then they got some other guys that, you know, they were solid in this game, 9-28. Like guys like Nate Theis, Taman Lipsey, could definitely also get it going from three, and they could be a real problem. But they just score. They can just score in a lot of different ways. They've got really experienced guard play. I mean, they're missing Joshua Jefferson, but like Lipsey, Theis, those guys are both upperclassmen. Same with Torrey, who's a fantastic defender. That's why I like seeing him score 25. Like he's normally like their defender. I felt bad for him, man, because he played like just about as perfect defense as he could against Jaden Bradley in the Big 12 tournament and the semifinals.
It's like
when he hit that game when he shot over him.
What are you gonna do?
So like, so frustrating. That's like just that instance where it's like, yeah, I mean, a good shot's gonna be good defense. Because man, like he was all over him too.
It's good. It's a good thing you credited the defense of Iowa State, because they were losing this game 20-9 pretty early in the first half.
They did not start well.
It took a few trips to the line. They were like 4 of 15. It took a few trips to the line, but they ended up bringing the game back and going up by 2 at halftime.
Or they're actually up just by 1.
They're just by 1 at halftime. Yeah. And
then
from then on, just dominated and controlled the game. It's like they weren't really ready for Kentucky to come out as red hot as they did. Like they continued that same momentum from the Kentucky overtime into the first half of this game. And they just exerted all of it.
I think they were just a little, it took them a while to adjust to not having their top guy out there.
That's true too.
You know, like it was a little different. Like against Tennessee State, they just got out and they shot out the gates like right away. But you know, this was a little bit better team. And it was, you know, like they did at least have Joshua Jefferson to start that Tennessee State game, and then he had to leave with an injury. This one, you know, he wasn't even in there to start, and so they just kind of had to get their bearings about them. But I think like once they really started leaning on Lipsey, who 26 and 10 assists, that was a pretty sick double-double to have there. Yeah, I mean, he just like they started running the offense through him, and he was just making the right decision every time. Momcilovic knocking down 4 threes. And then the defense, I mean, 12 steals. Kentucky turned the ball over 20 times. Yeah, Lipsey had 5. Torrey had 3. Momcilovic and Buchanan each had 2. Like all of their top guys really started playing super well. One thing that for the Cyclones, I don't think they're a good rebounding team, but I don't really think they have the ability to just dominate somebody in that respect. So that would probably be where Michigan has the advantage there. But Michigan's really only got like one like guy that I trust a lot to handle the ball, and that's Cadeau. And so with like how much Iowa State can pressure the ball, like when the ball is out of Cadeau's hands, like
It's pretty tough.
They could. That's where they could force some mistakes. We'll see though. They do got to get past a Tennessee team that's been
They're rolling, dude.
red hot from three. Jacob Gillespie, almost like Colin Gillespie. He's already in the NBA. Jacob Gillespie's been fantastic. He had 21 in their victory over West Virginia. He hit like just a stupid like shot clock running out. There's just no reason that you should be able to that you should hit this. It's a terrible look. He's got to rush it to get it off, and he just buried it. So he's such a clutch shot maker there. I like, Nate Alnett's been pretty good scoring in the post, and just like his length is a tough ask for people to defend. So he gets to the line a good amount. He had 8 free throw attempts in this game against Virginia. That helped him get to 16 points. Jalen Carey and Amari Evans off the bench, I thought gave some good minutes. Evans didn't do a lot of scoring, but I just got some big boards, and then had some good defensive activity. Carey gave you 10 points off that bench. So yeah, I'm surprised Virginia, man. I wouldn't have been surprised if they went deep, or if they were a team that potentially made it to the Elite Eight, but
that was
down in
my
around the
team.
32.
That was my team in the Final Four out of the Midwest. That's what screwed me over on my whole bracket.
Yeah, that's
my final team out of the Midwest was Virginia.
Didn't see this coming. They were
not at all.
I mean, they did a fairly good job of rebounding in this one as well. Very balanced. So it wasn't like that was what killed them. But yeah, I think they just were a lot less confident in trying to run their offense. It was a lot of like this kind of like, one guy's going to cut while another guy tries to drive to the basket, kick it back out and reset. And it just, that like 5-out offense, but then they didn't do anything really too complicated. And so like shots just wouldn't open up, and they ended up just settling for kind of a contested 3 or not getting a ton of space. So their offense just seemed kind of stagnant at points. DeRitter was fantastic in this one, man. He had 22, 5 boards as well. He knocked down
shooting night from Malik Thomas. That's what Virginia needed.
Yeah.
And this one was Malik Thomas to be that scoring threat that they had in round 1 from him. It's honestly like Tennessee's defense is just not getting the credit from us right now.
That's true. They play fantastic defense.
They were really good down the stretch of just eliminating the guys that Virginia wanted to take those big shots. It just made them as difficult as possible, and really just had Virginia's offense in a frenzy.
Because think about it, back to round 1 too. Tennessee, what did they do to beat Miami of Ohio? They really ran them off that 3-point line so then just their ability to kind of adjust and take away, Virginia's ability to score inside and force them to take some bad threes. They've been playing great defense these first 2 rounds of the tournament. I don't expect a lot of points to be scored in this game again between Tennessee and Iowa State. Yeah, I wouldn't expect a lot.
I'm excited to see that one, man. That's going to be one of the best Sweet 16 games we got. And there's some crazy matchups. A 9-4 in the South region is sweet.
Yeah.
We got an 11 and a 2 in the West. And then a 3 and a 2 over in the East, UConn and Michigan State.
Really not any matchups that I'm not looking forward to round 2. I'm really intrigued to see how all of these go. But why don't we jump up to the West, and you want to start with the Wildcats, K-Man? How they've been?
They handled Long Island. That was a good game.
As we expected, yeah.
Took their foot off the gas in the second half and just kind of let them get back into it. It was like 28-70 at one point, like really early in the second half. Long Island didn't even have more than 30 points. And just the second game here against Utah State that really scared me because their defense looked great, held them to 66 points. But right down the stretch, when they're only up by around like 14, 15 points, here comes a barrage of three-pointers from Utah State. And they just could not miss down the stretch.
Which was weird because Utah State was really bad from three. They shot 13% against Villanova. Like a lot of their points, the reason they beat Villanova is they got to the line 36 times. And you had, Collins and Faisley were really the only like consistent shot makers in the team for that one. But yeah, you're right. Against Arizona, it's like it was a whole new team. They were just like the 3-pointers were keeping them in it.
Yeah, it was like out of nowhere. They decided to make all their threes. And it's a blessing, though, for Arizona that this is one of their best three-point shooting games of the season. Made 7 of 17, 41% from the field. I mean, that's got to be the most threes they've made all year. Braden Burries was 3 for 3 from three. He had one of the most clutch shots in this game. It was really just a dagger. Just put Utah State out of it.
Yeah.
And guards, I trust. I trust their guards. It's just don't let Darius Acuff get hot in the second half against you in this next game because, oh man, you're facing off one of the best offensive guards.
Also, the size of Arizona was huge in this one though. Like
Krivos
they just had no
beast.
They got nobody. Like Utah State had nobody that could box out Krivos, man. Like he's just the biggest dude that anybody on Utah State's seen all year. 54 rebounds in this game was insane. They're just 26 from the Aggies. And then they're a huge free throw disparity, 39 attempts to 11.
Yeah.
Arizona got to the line a lot.
And I mean, a lot of it was the bigs. Like anytime Koa Pete got inside, anytime Krivos got inside, they were just getting fouled, so they didn't get an easy shot.
You look at the guys that got the most free throws. It was Koa Pete, it was Krivos, it was Toby Iwake, like all their bigs, because it was just like they were just so much bigger and stronger. Like Utah State kind of had the foul to try to stop them. Or, they get into the bonus and foul them trying to get the rebound. But like Krivos, a double-double, 11 and 14. Koa Pete, 14 and 10. I think Arkansas's got length, but they don't they've got some lanky bigs, but like not anyone that's like the size of the Wildcats.
That's true. This game is going to be insane. I really can't wait for it. I mean, it's probably going to have Karchenkov going out, take that battle. We're going one-on-one against Darius Acuff, most likely, because, I mean, Jaden Bradley. Jaden Bradley done twice in the regular season guard AJ DeBonsa and do pretty well still offensively. But I think in this game they're going to need a scoring ability a lot more than what they're used to. And they're going to need somebody else on Acuff on the other end of the ball just to give those guys a break.
He's been a bucket. We'd be remiss if we don't talk about Wisconsin High Point. What a fantastic game. Chase Johnston scoring his first 2-pointer of the season as the go-ahead bucket.
The shot of the year. He wears number 99, too. That's the funniest part.
Buries 4 threes. Yeah, scores 14. I mean, like, they were getting some. They also got Cameron Fletcher.
Yep.
Another guy who didn't start the game, scoring 14 points. Rob Martin, their starting guard, had 23 points and 10 assists. Yeah, High Point just knocking down 15 threes was which is funny because like that was one of the things that I thought would like make Wisconsin dangerous is their ability to get hot from three. Like
Yeah.
I mean, 39% wasn't terrible, 9 to 23. But it wasn't like it was any, like wasn't like the 3-point barrage that you would I thought they could put up. Blackwell and Boyd were really good in this one. 27 for Boyd, it's 5 and 6. You had 22, 10 and 2 out of John Blackwell there. But yeah, I mean, High Point, like Chase Johnston's first two being to take the lead, it was insane. But I think his more insane shot was like he just like randomly pulled up from like 35 feet, like super deep, like basically from the logo. Early into the shot clock, they were down by 8. I mean, you like
Just
had
check shot.
You had to hit that shot. Like you missed that, like you probably don't come back. Like that's
you're getting benched for the rest of the game.
You had to hit that shot. So just the situation and the stakes, I think that was a super crazy shot. That was probably the craziest that he hit.
And that'll spark it in your team to go and pull a comeback. Now you're only down 5 after that 3. I mean, this is the beginning of a run right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Ended up pulling it off and then getting the victory. Like Rob Martin before that also, he hit like a wild 3 that he got fouled on, and he could have, you could have said that was an and one, but they didn't get the call. And bam, they're moving on to the next round. But Arkansas, after taking care of Hawaii pretty handily, I mean, credit to High Point, dude. They played them really tough.
They played their best. 88-94 it's not the score I expected.
Yeah. 30 from Rob Martin. Cameron Fletcher coming off the bench again, had 25. And Terry Anderson was pretty efficient, scoring 15. They also gave you 5 and 6 as well. So they got some really impressive performances. Fletcher also dragging down 8 boards was a big impact there. But first of all, you have a couple double doubles from some of these bigs on Arkansas. Ewan 14 and 12, Billy Richmond 15 and 10. Malik Thomas, he scored 19, so he was on one too. But the story was Darius Acuff, 36 points. Guy just couldn't
stop.
When they needed a clutch bucket, man, like it was
him,
the go-to guy. I mean, and then he hit like a pretty big 3 when High Point was only down 3. That really killed a lot of momentum in this one, and was probably it was in a sense pretty much the dagger, and it was like really just. I mean, he caught that, kind of dribbled a little bit, just worked to the spot, got it, and then just rose and fired. Like he didn't need a lot of space. He just felt comfortable and just drilled it over his defender. And that's just, like when you're just locked in like that.
It's like he's been reaching his flow state in every single game.
Right. He was fantastic in the SEC tournament. Big reason why they won that. And then, just great against High Point in Hawaii first 2 rounds. But Arkansas will be Arizona will be a bit of a different beast. Both teams don't go super deep into their bench, but I think Arkansas rather has even less of a
rotation. They had a lot of guys transfer when Darius Acuff came into the picture because there's there goes all my minutes because this guy just is a bucket, pure bucket, an offensive machine.
All right.
I'm scared for Arizona.
Well, I mean, we
also scared for Purdue.
Look for Purdue or Texas here. I mean, these guys, that's an intriguing matchup, man. The Longhorns winning 3 games in the span of 5 days. First, they got to take down NC State and a nail biter in the first 4 matchup. They end up coming out on the top of that one by just 2 points. Tamron Mark was leading the way with 17 there. But it was just really, I mean, like, what's been big for Texas is their ability to rebound. That was a pretty big disparity in that game. And then we'll go look against BYU because Purdue killed Queens in the first round.
Yeah,
and Missouri kind of got run off the court late by.
They weren't able to hang in it with Miami.
Miami. But this one, yeah, Matis. Let's see if I remember how to pronounce this. Voikatitis was. I mean, BYU had no answers for him, which is kind of wild because you've got like Kiba Keita out there, big, strong center. Diamande Mbapa. It's just like this guy had 23 points and 16 rebounds. Like they just could not keep him off the boards. And again, it was a 9-point advantage in the rebound disparity for Texas. Jordan Pope hit some nice clutch shots. Terman Mark was again a big scoring factor for them. And then, yeah, I mean, BYU really just got no one else besides DeBonsa doing a whole lot for him. 35 and 10. Robert Wright gave you 14, but like this was a team that was clearly just desperately missing Richie Saunders. I think his 3-point shooting, first of all, would have been huge for BYU, who only hit 4 threes in this one. They were 4 of 22. But then also, like, Wright's more of a scorer. DeBonsa's more of a scorer. They just didn't really have.
They didn't have a playmaker.
Out there.
Somebody anyone
with it, like one assist for DeBonsa. Like BYU as a team had 6 assists. Like it just a lot of stagnation on offense. Like DeBonsa did a fantastic job of like creating for himself
spots. Yeah, he got his shots, but eventually, like somebody that there comes to a time when you do got to get set in half court. Like the game is going to slow down, and no matter what, and you are going to have somebody that's able to get your team settled, get the play going, and they got to run that action successfully.
And that was the thing too. Is like AJ just is not a great 3-point shooter. He was 1 of 7 in this one, and it's like Texas is like, we'll live with all these 2s. We'll live with you going to the free throw line. We are like if they got up to a lead, and it's like, all right, we'll live with you. Like, we don't mind him getting one-on-one matchups. We can live with, him scoring 2s because they can't stop. Like, they're not stopping us at the other end. And we're maintaining this lead. So, like, BYU just couldn't get stops and they couldn't hit 3s, and it was. I really think Richie Saunders could have made a big difference in this game. It was only an 8-point loss, but BYU was just really missing like an experienced guard.
Yeah,
making really the decisions. A fantastic game out of Texas. I mean, their defense, like I said, was fantastic. They really took away the 3, and I mean, you knew DeBonsa was going to score, but like his scoring wasn't going to beat you if nobody else was scoring, and that's what they did. That's how they attacked that, and it was very successful. And then you go into round 2. Kennesaw State did take Gonzaga kind of down to the wire. And this one, they They shot pretty poorly from 3, did the Zags. And they let the Owls get to the line.
Yeah.
A whole lot. So
kind of showed maybe it was a little bit of that West Coast Conference.
Right. They came in looking a little fraudulent, and I think Texas kind of exposed them in this 6-point victory here. So, I mean, Ike was pretty good for Gonzaga. He had 25 points, but and they had a slight rebounding advantage, but it really wasn't enough. And I think just more efficiency from Texas. Modest was again very good, 17 and 9 from him. Jordan Pope had probably his best scoring performance. And again, he's just been like the guy that's been hitting clutch shots for Texas in this tournament. I like a pretty evenly matched game, but like in the big moments, like those like 50-50 like rebounds down late, or like when you needed to hit a shot, like it was just the Longhorns that were able to come down with it, that made that play. They were all, they outscored Gonzaga 46-38 in the paint. So it wasn't really even like the Zags played super bad, but they just like Texas made the game-winning plays in the right moments when they mattered more.
Oh, and it is noon, everybody. Unfortunately, this has been the end of today's episode. I completely forgot. We're going to have to take a look at the next 2 rounds in our last bracket tomorrow on the regular show.
Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We'll finish our recap of the East region, as well as give you some updates on the NBA, MLB season. Hey, UFL's starting soon too, so we'll look into that as well. New rules, we'll break it down for you. We got to sign off for today, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow until the final whistle.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness, one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.